Hi. So I stayed up pretty late last night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I got all of the companions on Dreamlight Valley leveled up and ready to go for um, Wednesday. It was important to me at the time, but I did not think I was going to be late to stream this morning. Okay, so we're still recoloring a lot of these houses. Some of these houses, I'm like, how could I have done this? And other houses are like, oh, that was the correct color in the first place. Okay. Um, okay. Um, okay, so I woke up early this morning, 6 o'clock. Sam was trying to get me to help him with something, and I'm like, I was like really tired because I just kind of just, ugh. I just kind of sleep at, like 3 something in the morning, only to wake up at 6 something and need to go upstairs. So, so I ended up going to sleep before I found out uh, what he wanted. I feel bad, but I will take care of it. Oh, I gotta go on my treasure hunt today. Yeah, the treasure hunt that every cat owner just loves. But at least it it'll make them happy because they won't get sick or anything like that. Um, okay. So one of the guys I watch on YouTube, he's always going, this isn't the game, but it's in Minecraft preview. Um, it kind of irritates me because I'm like, it is, and then I go look it up and no. Uh, yeah. It's not as bad as one of the other YouTubers I watch. Um, okay, so he's was trying to think of Winnie the Pooh characters yesterday, and he goes, or this wasn't yesterday. This was, like a couple of days ago or 3 days ago, something like that. I don't know. Because I am still trying to catch up on YouTube videos. But the cool thing is that I think, oh man, I gotta load some more. Um, but I think I can catch up today. Uh, you know, if you count all the shorter videos, not the ones that are, over an hour long. I think I can catch up on the shorter videos today, uh, and then, get the longer ones done during streams. Only problem is that I uh, probably shouldn't be playing them out loud. I mean, to where I can hear them. So, miss some of the flavor, but not too much. But okay, so right now, uh, it's Pop's Disney Adventures from when? Oh, okay, from 5 days ago. Oh boy, from 5 days ago. Wow. Thought I was done with all the 5 days ago ones. Uh, guess I wasn't. Um, well, I mean, it becomes 5 days ago. Yesterday it would have been 4 days ago if I would have been able to play it. But that reminded me that apparently there was a big fight at Disneyland. And and nobody, I don't know if Disney asked them to not report on it very well or what, but nobody is reporting on this very well. They're showing the aftermath of what happened. Um, what am I doing? One of the fighters got taken out on a stretcher. He's going to the hospital. And the other guy got arrested. It was on YouTube, so I can say that for a fact. But I'm wondering what triggered this. I mean, was it like the one guy's wife wanted the last Loungefly backpack, which doesn't seem like a thing because they have a lot of everything. Um, you, when Pops or 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 Christine from Attractions Live um or David from Fresh Baked or Chris from Park Pass, it looks like they've got a lot of stuff. So I don't see it being, like the one guy's wife wanted the last Loungefly backpack and the other guy's wife wanted it too. So then they got into a fight somehow. And if it is something that petty, oh my goodness. But, like, how do you get into a fight at Disneyland? Oh my goodness. It's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. It would be if they would lower their food prices and not make it to where just the rich people can get in and drop reservations. I mean, I realize that they need to make money, but that's ridiculous. I mean, I don't remember what it was, but it was $17.99, and I don't think that included fries and a drink. It was something in Tomorrowland. Like I said, I don't know what it was. It could have been a meal. Um, but Chris from Park Pass was showing that the other day, and I'm like, what the heck? $17.99. Well, he's over there saying, you know, uh, I think it was 3 ways that Disney gets you to spend your money. They use the words limited edition and for food, they don't have a dollar sign on anything. But still, they had a decimal point. You can tell that it's $17.99. I mean, apparently they make a refrigerated backpack. And the inside of the backpack is refrigerated. So, I would probably bring in my own food. It's not as fun, though. And, you have to have popcorn. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. Another one. Wafting smells like the popcorn. Like their popcorn stands. Um, their popcorn stands are like made on purpose to waft the smell, like all around that area of the park. So you're like, I've got to have popcorn. And I remember the Disneyland popcorn being very good. It's like the best. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to have it because I remember it being a little salty. And I don't know if they switched to sea salt or not. Um, let's see here. Okay, so, well, yesterday I thought that maybe, I'd have to make some more meals in Dreamlight Valley because, leveling up so many of the companions, and that didn't work. That did not work. So then I thought maybe feeding all the animals, and I got every single one except for one. No, except for two. I said except for one. But I think it was two. Because I don't remember finding the other owl. And I definitely don't remember finding the other baby Pegasus. But anyway, I got most of them fed. I was so happy I found both rabbits. I was so happy. Oh, well, okay. So I usually say this at the end of the video, and then I'm like, did anybody actually see this part? But, please go on Amazon and check out my books. You can open two internet windows at the same time, just in case there is somebody out there who doesn't know that. But they're on Amazon, and you just need to type in Tina Rash Books, TINARASHBOOKS, in the search line, and you should find Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, and Adopted Coral. And coming soon, which for me means somewhere between now and Christmas, will be Lessons in Love. And then I'm either going to go to Test in Love, because, you know, like, this is a part of the series that I really want to work on. But I will either go to Test in Love, or I'll go to Finding Love. Finding Love is, Finding Love would be the official fourth book in the series, because Esperanza's Party and The Island are not officially book 8 and 9 or whatever I put. Okay. They're, I don't know what number they are. But anyway, that's what they are. Okay, and then Bamboo. Wait, is that how I did it over here? I've got to know. Okay, blue. No, I did crimson. What? Huh? Wouldn't that be the bamboo? Yeah, okay. Wait, white. And then I did crimson bamboo. Oh no. Okay, in wood it's supposed to be like that. In planks it's supposed to be like that. What the heck? This is what happens when you do things when you're tired. I I seriously think that no, wait, I wanted to make this. Okay, wait. Okay, like I said, in the wood, this is the way it's supposed to be. It's not going to mess with anything else. It's just messing with these three colors. Oh, anyway. Anyway, I was telling you about one of the YouTubers I watch. He called Eeyore the donkey. And I'm quite upset about that. You know, it's like, excuse me, he has a name. Although, okay, although he does have the disadvantage of not watching them in America first. So, like, Eeyore may have had a different name where he comes from. You know, um, there was several characters where um, you know, there were several characters where or they have a different name where he comes from. So can't think of anybody specific right now though. But it was but he kept saying Philip, but I think he meant Philippe. And there is a difference because I think Philippe is basically Philip with an E on the end. But Philip is a prince in Sleeping Beauty, and Philippe is the horse that's supposed to be taking Maurice to the fair. And if Maurice would have listened to Philippe, they wouldn't have ever met they wouldn't have ever met Beast, who is actually named Adam. You know, if that would have been nowadays, then that instead of Belle going, "It is you," and they might have had that awkward moment of, "Okay, your name is not Beast, so what is it?" And then he'd have that, you know, because he's been a Beast for like 14 years. Um, so since he's been a Beast for like 14 years, uh, he would have been, um, and then, you know, Lumiere could save the day and say, "Your name's Adam." You know, but they didn't do it that way. But you only know that his name's Adam if you watched the videotape version from way back. And I'm talking before the special edition DVDs. And well, it would have been special edition videotape too. Um, the special edition got put in place because one of the um, male workers that worked on uh, some of the movies, Hard and Heavy, um, specifically Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas. I want to say there's one more, but I know those three for sure. Um, he worked on those really, like he put his heart and soul into them. And then I think he got into a car wreck or something like that and went on his extended vacation. Um, Not entirely sure what made him, but he went on his extended vacation. So, so they put some of the songs back in, and with the DVDs at the very least, you can watch it with or without the added content. And I think most people would watch it without. But with Pocahontas at least, I kind of like the If I Never Knew You. And Mel Gibson is a good singer. Mel Gibson actually did the singing in that part. They didn't, it wasn't like Mulan where they had one guy for his voice and then they switched over. And I don't see how they did that because it sounds like it's the same person the whole time. But but I found out what was it yesterday, I think, that they've got one voice for um Mulan's boyfriend guy. Um I think Shang. Anyway, they got one voice for him when he's talking, and they've got Donny Osmond when he's singing. But in Pocahontas, it's Mel Gibson the whole way. So I love that. I think that's so cool. You don't look at Mel Gibson and think singer. It's not like John Travolta where I knew, but only because he was in the movie Grease. And I don't know if he's if he was singing in that or not. I think they said that he wasn't. But I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to know. I want to pretend that it's, you know, John Travolta all the way. If it wasn't. But, but I thought it was pretty cool because supposedly, I don't see how they did this because it does not look like him. But supposedly, um, the because I can't remember his real name, but the actor who plays Kaniki was also in Pete's Dragon as one of the Gauguin sons. And every time I look that up, I'm like, how? Because he doesn't look like him at all whatsoever. And he looks way too tall. So either everybody else was shorter or something because and they put a beard on him. They not like a full beard, but enough of one, and it just does not look like him. Uh, oh, I think it's Jeff Conaway. Thank you, God. It just popped into my head all of a sudden. Okay, so we're gonna finish this, and we're gonna redo that house. Okay. So we settled on an idea here because in the woods, uh, in this stripped wood over here, uh, yeah, right here. Okay. It goes, oh, okay. So it goes oak, birch, jungle, acacia, dark oak, mangrove, cherry, pale, crimson, warped, and then way down here, bamboo. Way down here. I don't know why they did that because the other pattern's the other way. The planks, they've got a different pattern. Why did they do that? That's so weird. Okay. So yesterday I was watching a fresh baked video and he does a lot of uh, park science, I think it's called, where he tells you, if this is 25 minutes, uh, he'll go, if this ride's 25 minutes, it's a go. But if this ride's, like, say, an hour, it's not a go. And then he tells you, sometimes he tells you a better time to go on that ride. Well, yesterday he was trying to get on every single mountain ride, Space Mountain, Matterhorn, Big Thunder Mountain, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Well, he decided because there was a small problem with uh, there's a very small problem with going on Big Thunder Mountain. It wasn't open yet. Which I think if you're going to let people into the park, all the rides ought to be open. I think I would be pretty dang upset if I rope dropped, being able to go into the park and rides were not open yet. Especially if it was like we decided to, uh, if we ever get to go to Disneyland again, and I would love to, but like I said, I want to pay off the house first and, and start donating to some worthy causes. But if we got to go to Disneyland again, my husband has never been on Space Mountain. His uh his mom is an impatient type of person, for one, but for two, I don't know if that was a thing back when. He says it was, but I'm not sure. Um, but she had some uh discs in her shoulders, her back, whatever, that were not happy. They were, uh, they were like, if she goes on certain rides, she's probably gonna hurt. So, anyway, like, I guess my father-in-law would go on the rides with the kids when they went to Disneyland, and I think he said he's been there. I think he said he was there once, but maybe he said twice. I'm not sure. Um, I I think they went like when he's too young to remember, and then they went because his sister Sue was in the high school band, and that's where they went to play their instruments one year. So anyway, like the first thing that we would probably do is all of the rides he hasn't been on yet. You know, because they are awesome. I just hope it doesn't break down because I can't take, uh, I really can't take if, uh, if all of a sudden, um, Space Mountain broke down again while we were on the ride. That, you know, that, I mean, I've got to say it did help a lot because, like, I was always kind of afraid of it because it's so dark. Well, that time they turned the lights on, and I'm like, oh, this isn't scary. But I've got a powerful imagination, which is why I can write books, and my imagination was telling me it's dark in there. You don't know what's in there. Yeah. Anyway, so we definitely have to go on Space Mountain and uh, whatchamacallit? Pirates of the Caribbean. I just had it in my head. Um, like I want to make a list and keep that list. Uh, like in my phone or something, and be able to, if we ever get to go to Disneyland, be able to look at it and go, okay, this is what we need to go on, first, and then we can go and whatever ride. I don't mind waiting in lines. I really don't. Apparently that's not a good idea anymore, but usually when we go to Disneyland, it's like a 5-day trip. There's only been one time where it was a 3-day trip, and that was in July of 92 because we were like going for my birthday. Actually, I don't even think that was a 3-day. I don't know. Okay, so one of the trips, and I don't know. Okay, so one of the trips, we ended up going to Universal Studios for a day. And I'm like, I really don't want to go to Universal Studios. And then after we went, I really didn't want to go to Universal Studios. Universal Studios in Hollywood, California was not that interesting. The ET ride was awesome. But had, I kind of wished that it was like, they could have stepped up their game at that point and made it to where you're like walking on the ET planet. Um, so what they did was they made the whole entire ride look, uh, if I remember correctly, the whole entire ride was made up to look like a bunch of bicycles. And, there's like four in a row, or maybe it was five. I seem to remember we had to do two of us in the one seat, and two of us in the one row and three of us in the other row, because there were five of us. I can't remember exactly though. Okay, no, we're not done yet. Oh, I should have been able to tell that from the front. Yeah, I'm a little tired. Even though I just woke up. Oh my goodness. It's not as bad as the other day because I literally stayed up until um I I think it was Saturday. Okay, so should have fallen asleep on uh I think it was Friday. I think it was Friday. I should have fallen asleep, and I did. But I woke back up at 3 o'clock in the morning, having to go upstairs. And then when I came back down, I was kind of wide awake. So I was like, I might as well finish the rest of the chapter. Well, I did, but that meant that I was working until like 7:30. So I had a half an hour of, oh, so I had a half an hour of Minecraft, and then I did Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy, and then I did more Minecraft, and I was just so tired. I need to stop doing that. I am above the age that is even a little bit okay. So, yeah. It's like that song, As Good as I Once Was, I think is the title. Um, I wish I could remember who sings it. Because, like, if I'm going to mention something like that, I like to be able to say, it's this song by this singer, and so you know exactly which one I'm thinking of. And here comes the gardener. Okay. So yesterday we're sitting there and we had the doors closed, we didn't think anything of it, it wasn't hot. So, we thought we were okay. Then all of a sudden it did get hot, so we like opened the door. Well, he opened the street side door, and we still had the other one closed, the grass side door. And well, as soon as we opened up the grass side door, I'm like, ew, it smells like somebody's been using the weed killer again. But I kept the door open anyway. Probably not the best idea in the world. But it was a lot cooler with that, and then we ended up having to close the doors. Bobby doesn't like it when we do that because she loves looking out the doors to see the traffic go by or the dogs playing outside, something like that, you know. She loves it. And she's going to get really freaked out when there's deer outside. Well, actually, she might be okay with it. She might think that it's just a really big dog with antlers. I don't know, but I figured out of all of my shorts videos, the shorter videos, um, everyone seems to like snow. And out of my longer videos, everybody likes Disneyland. So if you'd like to see me go back to Disneyland, please subscribe. Yeah, so like if you're watching me, oh man, still says 105. It was saying 106. I hope it doesn't go down to like 101 again. Um, but yeah, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow, chat, and subscribe. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Because I think it will really help me out a ton. At the moment, I just need, oh my goodness, on YouTube, I just need like 20 more people to subscribe, and I'll be one step closer to affiliate partner or whatever, and being able to get paid to do this, which would be so cool. Because, like, I was already playing the video games, and then our friends sit around said, hey, you can, go on Twitch and make money, and, if you can get to a certain level. And I was like, ooh, that's for me. And then, of course, some of my, um, some of my YouTube, people I watch on YouTube, they are always talking about, getting, they're always talking about please subscribe because, we can make money off of this. And it's like, I was making content anyway. Why not? You know? I don't think that, unless they change that, I don't think that they've realized, though, that they're not supposed to be making money off of both of them. They're supposed to pick one. But if they have changed it to where they don't mind, you can make money off of both. Because I'm using Twitch as a tool to post to YouTube. But, um, but, uh, but, like, if I can get money from both of them, that'd be great. And my books, and then, we might be able to pay the mortgage. Like I said, I would like to pay off the house. I know it's better if you don't pay it all off in one lump sum, because it's better for your credit, but, like, I just want it to where, like, if we can't afford to do anything else, you know, he would be able to go to a job that doesn't pay as much as we would have needed, and we'd still be able to survive. Or like they've turned off the electricity and they've turned off the internet and all that, but we still have a place to live because we paid it off, you know. I don't think it quite works that way because you still have to pay property taxes, but you know, wouldn't have to worry about being homeless. That's something I do not want to be. Ever. And we've been that a couple of times. We've had to live at the in-laws' house, and the last time that happened, um, my fur kids were all in their harnesses and they had to stay under the kitchen table, and you know, it was not okay. Their dog got to run around free, but our cats who lived there too had to be tethered under the table. Anyway, I don't want that to happen. So, please subscribe. Please, 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 please. And like I said, if I get 20 more people on YouTube, then it would be a very, very good thing. Now, I found out that I might be able to stream on YouTube, but I don't know if that's like one of those things that um, you can do if you're streaming from the computer. Oh, it's Mangrove. Okay. You know, I don't know if that's something that you can only do if you're streaming from the computer, or if it's you know, or if it can be set up to work through your Xbox as well. I'd be willing to do this on computer, except for that I like having the much larger screen. And I don't know if I could do I probably could not do, like, say, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy on my little 24-inch screen. I don't think I could do that. Or Dreamlight Valley. Oh my goodness. I know there's probably people out there right now that are like, oh, I wish I had a 24-inch screen because they're playing on Twitch. Or, although you can take your Twitch and connect it to the TV. I mean, to display on the TV, so there might be somebody out there with a 100-inch screen going, oh, this is easy. So yesterday, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden my and I didn't get much story done either, but all of a sudden my computer, and I got mad. Like when I was trying to place bricks, it wasn't doing it this way like it's supposed to. It was like going over there. And it's like, what the heck? Well, I found out it wasn't, you know, it was connected, but it wasn't connected to the Xbox. So I just turned the whole thing off and did something else for a while. I don't even remember what I did, but anyway, I waited like a good 20 minutes, I think. Oh, I think I was adding videos to the YouTube list because, they keep making more. If all of my favorite YouTubers would uh, not make videos for like a day, I could probably catch up, but they're not going to, so. I did catch up at one point. And then there was more. And then there was more. And then there was more. Oh boy. Oh, I think that's one of the things I did is I had the um I had the YouTube up on my TV. That only works. It kind of sucks because it only works for when you're watching people's videos. But if you're watching the movies that are on YouTube or the TV shows, it does not do them right out one right after another like it does on the computer. And I wish they would fix that because I love Samsung TV Plus, but every once in a while you want to watch a movie without commercials, and I'm sure that there's a version of Samsung TV Plus that doesn't have any commercials, but maybe there isn't. I don't know. I just know that one of the nights has Blue Bloods, and I don't know what night that is. I've got to like start writing this stuff down. And another channel has Disney's Zorro from like 1957, 1958. And I love that. Kind of wish that one of the channels would have um, the New Adventures of Robin Hood with, I think it's Matthew Portia. Um, no, Matthew Porretta. Yeah. Well, anyway, whatever his last name is, it's got him in it. I had a big crush on him when I was younger. I was like, okay, I'll grow up and, you know, I was like, I'll grow up and we'll get married and we'll have kids and, you know, it'd be great. But that was when I was younger, you know. I think that was when I still thought, okay, so I'm this age now, and I probably would have been like 12, and he's an adult acting as Robin Hood. um, but for some reason I thought, you grow up and everybody's an adult. They just don't have any, they don't have ages anymore. They're just all an adult. So, like, in one part of my life, I was gonna grow up and marry Michael J. Fox. This was before I found out he was married. And, like I said, I was gonna marry the guy who played Robin Hood. Uh, at one point, I was probably gonna marry John Travolta uh, when I got old enough. When I was a kid too, just because he played Danny Zuko. Um, it's just all fantasy. It's, celebrity crush time. But, yeah, now I'm like old enough that I know that they are still older than me. I think, not sure about, uh, Michael J. Fox, but like the other two, I'm pretty sure could have been my dad if, you know, situations would have been different. So, not entirely sure on that one, but um, well, because he was Michael J. Fox, I think, was 25 when he played Marty McFly. And I think that was 19. Oh, no, that was 1985, I think. I was going to say 1984, but that would have been 1985. So I would have been 7. So, okay, so if he would have, well, we'll say if he would have gotten married when he was 18 and you know, and had kids, then yeah, I could have been one. But obviously that wasn't it. I was born to my parents, so. Okay, I'm just saying, you know, like, they were way older than me. I'm not meaning that they're old. I'm not at all. But, you know, they were way older than me. Celebrity crush, you know. Of course, at one point, I had a celebrity crush on the prince in Sleeping Beauty, Prince Philip. Um, oh, and Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid. And I kind of like Flynn Rider, but I like the personality of Kristoff. You know, after he, after he gets past the no, I'm not going to help you. You know, if they ever do like a Frozen 3, if they haven't done it already, there ought to be a little bit of backstory for, or like a Frozen 4 if they have made 3 already. You know, there ought to be a little bit of a backstory. Why does he not exactly like people? You know, before Anna walks in there, why does he not exactly like people? Because you know he's an orphan, but you don't know why. And you know, I kind of think that maybe his dad was an ice harvester and his mom was uh you know how like the two groups were fighting and Elsa had to go and help them? Yeah, like maybe Kristoff's parents were on opposite sides of that, and you know, one of them. Okay, there we go. Okay. Anyway, maybe they're on opposite sides of that thing. Look, we finished the row! Yay! Except that this one's not the correct color. It's supposed to be birch. Okay. Uh, we'll fix that. Okay, wait. I just want to make sure. Yes, that belongs there. Okay. So we have, yes, okay. So we have oak, we have spruce. Has the roofs on oak and spruce? Okay. And then we've got birch. I think at one point I was like, this is just so annoying. I don't care what color it is as long as it's a different color. Ooh, they're about to go on Snow White, I think. If it's not Snow White, it's definitely Pinocchio. Okay, so I haven't been here. I haven't been to Disneyland in 25 years. You're gonna have to cut me some slack if I don't know my rides by a quick glance. Please. See, I think that they ought to come up with like D-box seats. You know, like how they've got theater seats in, yeah, Snow White. Okay. Like they've got theater seats in Best Buy, but go like one step further, and it would be expensive at first, I'm sure, because it's the new thing. But if they would come up with like a D-box seat or a set of D-box seats, um, and have a like total immersion, like you step into this thing and you've got the feeling of going to Disneyland. And maybe at first they would just have the rides, but you could have it to where, eventually have it to where you've got, all of the sights and sounds in Disneyland just right there in your living room or in your man cave. That was my other thought. Um, and like uh like for kids it could be, hey, you finish your homework and you can go to the D box and go to Disneyland. You know, I think kids would want to do that. It's not exactly the same, and actually they could smooth out uh Madhorn that way too, if they wanted, but they'd have to come up with something to make that a little better because you end up going on that ride, and if you've got any kind of back problems or anything, then you're like, ow, afterwards instead of, yay, I went on the ride. Or at least that's what I'm hearing from people. I do have back problems, so I'm a little worried about that, but I'm like, they went and tried to fix this because, like maybe the track was peeling up or something. You never get the full answer of what actually happened. You know, why the ride closed down, except for on Haunted Mansion, because on Haunted Mansion, uh, okay, so last time I went, I haven't been there for 25 years, remember? Um, well, now over 25 years because it's past August, isn't it? Um, but anyway, uh, it was playful spooks have interrupted our tour. Uh, please stay seated in your doom buggy and our tour, we'll continue on in a moment. That's not what they said, basically that's, but basically that's what they were saying. But it's like the only reason why I remember that is because it keeps doing it now. And I just thought it was a summer thing, like it was overheated, but no. And it's just become part of the ride that you're going to end up stopping at some point, and you never know what part it is. We even got stuck on, stop, the ride even stopped one time, uh, when we were backwards going down into the graveyard scene, and that was uncomfortable. I was like, no. So I kind of sat forward a little until we could, get further down. It was cool because, like my sister and brother kept walking off. They're like, I don't want to be in this big old long line. And I mean, we could have gotten fast passes for some of the stuff, but, it's like, I just knew it was part of the fun of going to Disneyland to wait in line like everybody else instead of going in the other line with the fast pass. It just, you know, and that was when they, printed out your fast pass as a ticket thing. But anyway, we did that once though. I do remember we did that once, and I don't remember what ride it was that we did it for. Probably, uh, pro- I want to say probably Space Mountain, because I remember we went up there was like a ramp thing at the time. Like you went up to the front of the building and there was like a ramp thing. And if you went to the one spot, you could go and watch Captain EO instead of going on Space Mountain. And if you went to, like if you went to the right, it was Captain EO, and if you went to the left, it was Space Mountain. And I'm probably totally remembering it a little different than anybody else would remember it, but I, you know, I, that's how I remember it. Anyway, so that's how I built it, but that's not exactly the way it's supposed to be. So when I go and build parts of it this time, I'm gonna try to build it correctly. Because I usually just go and build like two big corridors. Uh, I mean, two big long buildings, and anyway, I usually build two big long buildings and try to fit what I'm building in that building. And really, what I need to do is do it right and figure out exactly what it's supposed to look like. And I never do, but it's like I remember certain rides perfectly, or I can look them up in my videos and that's how it's going to be. I mean, that's how I want it to be in uh, my build here. Okay, so this kind of puts a monkey wrench into things, doesn't it? Okay, so yesterday we did a special thing on the video on on Fictional Ireland Rebuild 106 and 106 Part 2. And I got very upset because I'm like in the middle of making this video and the internet goes out. All I wanted to do was finish, and then I was gonna probably turn it off and either I was gonna turn it off and go to Dreamlight, play Dreamlight Valley, and like I kept getting the urge to do that, and then I'm like, no, I gotta finish this. I've got to finish this. I've got to at least get to the spot that I was before. If I could finish Cherry Street, that would be even better. But I was thinking that, but I kept on having this nagging feeling I need to do. Uh, I need to do Dreamlight Valley. Uh, and I finally got done at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and yeah. So the problem is that I have another file that I need to work on, and I probably should work on one more thing, which is that Disneyland build. But the Disneyland build isn't so important that it can't wait, you know. The fireworks display, that is very important and does need to be done, sometime before 4th of July. I know, you're like, we just had 4th of July. How could you be thinking about next year 4th of July? Well, that's what you gotta do when you're a content creator, but B, putting on any fireworks display. You gotta think ahead. So, since I've gotta think ahead, yeah. I mean, because I've been trying to have um, a new fireworks display for you all every year, and this year's didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it, but it worked pretty good. And so I worked out all the kinks on that kind of thing this year, and um, because I was doing it with 25, but 25 wasn't working. It too many things were going off at the wrong time. So, I got the idea of using my old build of this that I'm working on right now, the old build, and making it um, making it the fireworks display. And I thought that works really good. So, the thing is, on my Disneyland, I don't know if I was going to use redstone or not, and I probably shouldn't. I think I am, though. I think I did start using redstone already. Yeah, I just got a mental image of the entrance. So, yeah, I'm using redstone on that one. So, I will be sad if it dies, but it's the only. I mean, basically, I'm only using that for the. I think I'm only using that for for the street lights so far. What am I using? Birch, birch, birch. I'm like, what am I using? I don't know. Okay. Um. So, yeah, like on Dreamlight Valley, I still have some cooking, some nightthorn pulling, uh, feeding critters. What is it? Okay, cooking, small nightthorns, watering flowers and feeding critters. And I've been watering like every single. Oh, okay. I left myself a note and then I got really confused what it meant. Um, anyway, I've been watering every single flower, haven't gotten one. Oh, no, I think I got one orb from that. So then now I'm waiting to get up to that level again. It's probably like every 100 flowers or every uh 1,000 or 500 or something like that. It's a lot. And I don't know, I'm doing an experiment. I don't know if you can just go and water flowers willy nilly and they're not even dried. Um, I don't know if you can do that. But if it's working on dried flowers, then that sucks. But I was working on that yesterday, so I like really want to. Well, okay, so I need to work on my story. I think the whole chapter that I'm working on is only like 3 pages, but I just got to get the want to do it. I'll probably work on that while I eat breakfast. And today I don't have to worry about, today I really don't have to worry about doing anything because I'm streaming. I mean, I don't have to worry about doing anything else, is what I meant. Um, like all the other days, on Tuesday, I got to worry about doing backgammon and something for Roblox. And, and something for Zoo Tycoon. Well, okay, let's see here. Okay. So you're probably sitting here going, how the heck can you tell? Well, I just can. Like when I was younger, my mom taught me to, match colors. Uh, Here, this might be easier this way. To match colors, so like this is red. Yeah, so this is red. Is that red? No. Is that red? No. Is that red? No. Is that red? Yes. You know. Um, Look, we got on the next street. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, so we got on the next street. As soon as I finish this, I do have to go upstairs. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. When you gotta go, you gotta go. But, yeah. So, what else can we talk about? So I got up to to 480 followers on YouTube, and I am so happy about that. When I first posted this, it was just kind of a mine's better thing, because like I would see people making their videos of Disneyland and going, it would be like a black screen the whole entire time. And it's like, okay, my dad's got a better view of that, and he had one of those on the shoulder cameras. Can't believe they let him take it on the ride kind of thing. Well, they did, and he recorded the whole thing. Well, ours wasn't as dark as his, as some of the ones that I was seeing. You could actually see what was going on. And so I posted that, and people are like so happy because mine's from 1986, and then they'll find somebody who was recording in 1987, and then they'll find somebody that was recording in 1988, and keep on going. Or one of the people that commented on my video, and I love comments on my videos. Please leave some. Nice ones though. Nothing mean. Um, but yeah, I love comments on my videos. And I love it when people subscribe because, it makes me feel like I've got friends. And that sounds sad, but a lot of gamers don't feel like they have friends because, they only have friends when they're playing a game together. Otherwise they play alone a lot of the time. And, like if your friends aren't on, if your physical friends are not online at the time, then you got nobody, you know. So, anyway, I don't have very many friends, but they're important friends. So it's nice when I can make videos for all of you, and like when people leave comments, even if it's just questioning why this wasn't here and that was there or something like that in one of my Disneyland videos. It's like one of the people remembered a disco ball in one of the scenes, and like I watched the whole entire ride and I don't remember a disco ball, but I think we did find it at that one point. They left the timestamp of when it was, and I still didn't know what. I think I still didn't know what they were talking about, or I finally saw it or something. Um, anyway, but then like that was the end of the conversation. Um, but yeah, I love answering comments, and I will answer every single one of them. Hopefully, I will be able to continue answering every single one of them. Uh, if I get to like having 1 million followers, hopefully I'll still be able to answer every single one of them. Might take me a few days. But I think this is pretty cool because I started posting videos in 2016, 2017. I think it was November of 2016 was my very first video ever. And then I started posting the Disneyland ones in 2017. Because, like I said, some of the more recent recordings were like so dark you couldn't tell what ride you were on. Haunted Mansion? Yeah, okay. That's something that I'm looking forward to though. Um, like the first time that we go to Disneyland together as a married couple, because we've never been there as a married couple. We've been there with our parents. So, he went with his parents and he went with his parents and I went with my parents. And that's the only time that we've ever been to Disneyland. Well, it's going to be really, I think it's going to be slightly emotional if we ever get to go to Disneyland because mama will not be there. Mama will not be there. And, like me and my sister keep talking about getting the family together again now that we're older and making sure that uh my sister's kids and my kids and our husbands and us are together and our brother is there. And I'm still praying that God finds him a nice Christian girl and they can make, some Christian babies um and we can all go to Disneyland at that time. Um but anyway, like we keep talking about having a family trip to Disneyland. If my sister does end up moving, it might be a family trip to Disney World, but uh, but like we keep saying that we want to go to we keep saying that we want to go to Disneyland together as a group, but I think it would be really awesome if me and my husband could go, just the two of us, for the first time as a married couple and then do the big family thing. But my daughter would have to get time off of work. And I think my brother in law would have to get time off of work right now. Um, so I don't know what the update is right now, but as of yesterday, unemployment still had not come through for my husband. Somebody hacked the uh, systems in Nevada, so like DMV was down and unemployment and a whole bunch of offices, like every single one of them got hacked. So last we checked, the FBI is looking into it, but that's all we know. Oh, and okay, so I was watching the news on YouTube the other day, and it said it was like posted uh, 5 days ago or whatever. And it turns out that somehow three kids were left in the car by themselves. The youngest one was 1, and the oldest child was like 8 years old. And we don't know why they got left in the car. It could have been like, um, it could have been like the mom, uh, forgot something inside. Like maybe maybe they've got a dog and she forgot to feed Fido, so she left the kids in the car, told the 8-year-old to watch the 1-year-old, and um, she went in and fed Fido. But they didn't report it very well. They used to like report all the details, and then now they just report some of them. Like there's a car chase. Well, that's the important thing to them, that there's a car chase, and why is there a car chase, and are the kids okay? But then, like, it crashed into another vehicle, and that was, like, the end of their interest. That, they hung on until they knew that the kids were safe and just left it that way. They didn't do the whole 9 yards where they actually followed the guy, because it turned out that, like I said, the kids were in the car. For some reason, the 8-year-old was in the front seat, and yeah, they couldn't figure that one out, because you were not supposed to have 8-year-olds in the front seat. 12-year-olds, yes. 8-year-olds, no. But yeah, they couldn't figure out why the kid was in the front seat, but this is in the LA area. Anyway, they ended up in Malibu, and the car that um, you assume is the parents' car, um, it, the guy was driving so fast, and he wasn't obeying any laws. It was almost like, I hate to say it this way, but now that I think about it, it was almost like he was in LA illegally and running from the cops who, you know, questioned him about something. Nobody knows what happened except for that the guy was driving illegally, ignoring stop signs, you know, not stopping for red lights, stuff like that. Anyway, if you know anything about that, please go to the police and let them know. Um, Even if it's, okay, I know that around here they've got, text this number. You can tell the information that you know silently to where, nobody's going to find out it was you. I mean, there's probably still a way to hack that, but, it's supposed to be uh, it's supposed to be a give information thing, and you can be totally anonymous. They don't, like, write down who said it. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be suspicious if you have, like, too many details. Like if you're saying that he had a red truck and he definitely had TNT inside the back seat, and all that stuff. If you come up with that kind of details, they're probably gonna contact you back and say, how do you know? But yeah, whatever. Okay. Oh, I found a movie yesterday. Well, my husband found it first, but John Snyder's in it, and they're doing like all kinds of different parodies of other movies. Like at the end of the movie, basically he's doing his own Smokey and the Bandit thing. I think I'm not sure, but I know at the end he does that thing of, you know what, you're too good of a person. Uh, look over your right shoulder, or maybe it was left shoulder, but anyway, look over your shoulder, and he's right there. So I didn't get to see past that. I haven't seen the movie yet. That's part of the reason why I'm trying to get through my YouTube videos, because then I can watch movies again, and at least for a little bit. Anyway, I can watch movies again, and that'll be one of them. That might be the first one. I loved John Snyder in The Dukes of Hazzard. He played Bo, the blonde one. And I respect the thing that maybe not everybody knows the Dukes of Hazzard as a TV show. Maybe they only know it as the movie where was it Jessica Simpson played Daisy with blonde hair. But there was a TV show that started it all where Catherine Bach had brown hair. She was not a blonde. And, excuse me, but some of the language that was in that movie would have made Uncle Jesse wash their mouth out with soap. So, I don't remember what was said, but I know that Uncle Jesse would wash their mouth out with soap. He side-eyed Daisy in one episode because she was saying that um she was saying that Cletus's car was driving like a bat out of hell. And he looks over at her like, "Don't you talk like that, young lady." Um, Another episode, it might have been the same one, but I think another episode she started to say something and he gave her the side eye of, "Don't talk like that, young lady." I'm pretty sure there was at least one episode where he did that to the boys. Anyway, that kind of language does not belong in the Dukes of Hazzard. This is the family that prays before they eat. Although they do it more on Blue Bloods, I've noticed. Okay. Because they get together every Sunday, so every Sunday when they're gonna eat dinner together, they pray before they eat. I like that. Not sure I like them being Catholic, but and I'm just happy that they, you know, put that in there at all, because that's part of what made Dukes Hazard great. else here? What else can we think about? I don't know. I think I'm out of stuff to talk about. Well, if I get on Dreamlight Valley today, I want to make sure that I've got. Oh, okay. If I go on Dreamlight Valley today, I want to make sure that I've got everything put away. You get a lot of stuff in your inventory in that game. And, like, if you're trying to collect one chest of everything, then you need to be able to do that. And if I've got all my chests full, then. If I got all the extra chests full, then I'll never get them into the. I mean, I feel like I will never get them into the chests that they're supposed to be in. Um, I would like to go in Storybook Vale and collect the lightning spice until I have a full chest of them. I'd like to go to, you know, well, I think that's mostly what I need. I'd like to go to Eternity Isle and get the bamboo and stuff, yeah. And I'm gonna do it one of these days. I just get into a thing where I need to do this, and this turned out a lot better than it ever has before, I think. And thanks to Squibs, we don't have any dirt in the movie theater, so happy about that. He was gonna extend the world, and then something happened. This time I don't know what happened. But, like, he was being stubborn about something, and I just took it out. Yeah, I just backed out of the world and said the heck with it for that moment. Um, so what part of the story are we at? And I don't remember. Oh, they're going on their first date as an official couple. They're just going to the soda fountain again. But okay, so I wrote that a little weird because because the first time I wrote it like, he's been doing this a ton of times. And then the second time I did it, I said it like we're, establishing that he, as if he said this a lot. And, you know, when you read the book, it'll make a lot more sense. But yeah, I don't know if I should change it to the first book saying, I mean, the first time saying that, and then the second time being like just, casual, we've said it a million times, so we don't have to establish that we've said it before or what. So after I'm done here, though, I am gonna probably continue on down the road and get as many of these houses done as possible. And then I gotta do this side, and then I gotta do that next row, and then I gotta do that last row, and everything should be caught up by then. If I can get Cherry Street done in the right colors and all that, I mean the correct colors and all that, I'd be happy. I'd be super happy. It says it's unstable. That is so funny though. Like, it'll say it's unstable and it'll be working like a champ. And then it'll say excellent and it's totally unstable, not working right, internet's going out. I am so confused. But yeah, it says unstable today. Don't like that, but having to work with it. So I did get one person to subscribe on Twitch, and that's B Jordan 2417. So yesterday we had a special thing just for him, and um, I mean it wasn't a members only thing; everybody can see it, but it was in honor that he subscribed because I don't know how to do a members only stream, and I think it's kind of rude anyway. Because it's saying that this person is more important because they subscribed and these people are less important. And that's not how I want to make everybody feel. That just seems rude. I want everybody to feel like they belong here. And so since I want everybody to belong here, that's what I'm going to, that's how I'm going to try to make you feel. But I will say this is in honor of this person because they subscribed. And this is in honor of this person because they subscribed. And I will give them a shout out at the time. And what we did is we went to the Disney World Minecraft map and went on 3 rides and then did um, the fireworks. Only we had to do it in 2 parts. And if I can actually download those 2 parts to my computer, then I can go and put the 2 parts into so I would do 2 things. First of all, I would edit the part where it stopped working. I'd back up to when we're at the entrance, and I'd probably back up to a few seconds before. Anyway, so then it looks like all of a sudden we walked up to the it looks like we walked up to the entrance of the ride and then went in. I'm pretty good at that, actually. I'm not being the braggy girl. I'm really not. I'm saying I'm pretty good. Um, there's people out there that could probably put, I don't know, for example, in their video. There's probably somebody out there who could take Donald Trump's nose and put it on John Travolta's body. John Travolta's face, but then like add Nicolas Cage's ears or something. I'm just saying there's probably somebody out there who can come up with some pretty tricky stuff, but the best I do is I go and edit stuff that doesn't need to be there out and make it look like it was supposed to be like that the whole time. So anyway, I would do that for the video to where it just flows and it's all together and no problem. But then also, I think I would go and take the part, and the video would probably be called First Subscriber. Like I would probably make a part in there where it's just the going to Disney World part and having that as a separate thing. And like I said, it would probably be called First Subscriber. And then, if I get a second subscriber, then there'd be another video, second subscriber. Make sure that the rides that we went on in the first video are not the same rides that we go on in the second video. Um, so what did we go on yesterday? Okay, we went Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Haunted Mansion. I was like determined I want to go to the Haunted Mansion, but then I couldn't think of what else I wanted to go. Well, no, I knew Jungle Cruise, and then it was like Haunted Mansion. Well, they're on opposite sides of the park. Um, they are totally on opposite sides of the park. So, I wasn't sure I could do it, but I did it. Um, I don't know. I kind of wanted to go on Tron next time. I guess subscriber. I'm not sure though. We'll figure it out. Problem is that, okay, so if we go on Tron, I'm probably going to want to go on Autopia. And if I go on Autopia, I'm probably going to want to go on, oh, what is it? It's like